It's Marcinkin here, bringing you another Dragon Ball Z Dokkan battle video. And so as we are solidly into part 3 of the worldwide celebration now, we have the Int Goku Black EZA and the final phases of the new events, which is basically what was added in the previous worldwide. I just brought up here last year's worldwide part 3, so we can kind of see where we are. Obviously new missions, new co-op campaign, all that kind of stuff. We got the new stages of the story events, so we could EZA the free-to-play units. We got the final stages of, this is obviously last year's version of the Divine Wrath and Mortal Will. The last stages of the Wicked Bloodline Red Zone. Obviously, we got all of this stuff. This is where we would have got the Int Goku Black EZA, the free-to-play Extreme Z areas, and then the Chain Battle, which is coming up in another day or so on Global after the maintenance. I say on Global, on both versions, right? Now, this was all that was in part 3 of the celebration last year. However, with the data download on Global showing the asset for the LR Rose EZA, it's got a lot of people thinking about what other potential stuff we could see drop as like a surprise second part of the part 3 sort of. It seems weird saying part 3, part 2. Like, what is this? The Attack on Titan final season? But yeah, so it'd be interesting to see if something else drops. I don't think they will call it like an EX part, right? Because if we go by last year's schedule, the maintenance is on like the 28th. And then last year, I think it was the 4th of October, the next Dokkan Fest releases. So I don't think they're going to do what they would call an EX part, and it only lasts for like 2 days or something, right? But there could be something else added in alongside the Rosé. There could be nothing, of course. It could just be like a story event, because I think last year this thing at the very top, this was like a revamp of one of the old story events. They turned it into a DB story. This is where you could get the Int Final Form cooler. So this wasn't really something new, it was just a revamp. We didn't get something like that for this part 3, so maybe it could just end up being something like that. But the thing that I wanted to talk about that would be super awesome, it's probably given away by the title and the thumbnail, probably even the reason why you clicked on the video, is at the end of this most recent anniversary, we got this event for the first time, which was the 8th anniversary battle. And this, of course, was an event where you fight against the characters from all of the previous anniversaries. It was pretty fun. Like, the first few stages were obviously quite easy. The later stages had a little bit more difficulty, and then, of course, had missions to make it a little bit more difficult for you as well. Like using all the types, not using any items, beating it within a certain number of turns, all that kind of stuff. But the whole point of doing it, I guess, other than just a fun new event to play, is the fact that you got unique skill orbs for each of these characters. Now, for the older characters like Gogeta and Janemba, the TUR Super Saiyan 4s, probably even the 3-year LRs for the most part, and then, to be honest, the 4-year LRs as well, maybe. You probably could go as far as to say the 6-year LRs before they get their EZA. These special orbs didn't exactly mean these units were suddenly all, like, you know, meta relevant again and being put into all of your teams, but it was a nice touch. It made them a little bit more usable. Some of the things that, you know, like Battlefield and stuff like that, where you can still use these units, and some of the easier stages, things like New Infinite Dragon Ball History, New Boss Rush, it just makes these units a bit more fun to use if you decide to use them again. And of course, the newer units, like these guys getting their EZA during the anniversary, the 5th years absolutely benefited from this massively, and then so did the 7th year LRs. But of course, the final stage, you fought against the brand new 8th anniversary LRs, and you got exclusive skill orbs for them, which were really, really good. So if you managed to pull 2 copies of both of the anniversary LRs and get their 2 paths unlocked, so you could have the gold skill orb equip slot available, like, these skill orbs were super, super good for these units. So wouldn't it be super awesome if for the final part, because this dropped in part 3 of the anniversary, this is one of the last events that came out. So imagine if this dropped at the end of the worldwide, like after the maintenance, we see it in the files potentially. I guess we would if it was going to be there. But if this dropped as like the final thing for the worldwide celebration, the worldwide celebration battle, like, this would be super awesome, right? Now, in the first year, I went back and checked all the schedule. Over the years, the worldwide celebration was often called like the download celebration, depending on when the game had hit a certain number of downloads. And then I guess they didn't hit the next target they wanted to hit in terms of the numbering order, so they just called it the worldwide celebration instead. There wasn't one in year 1, but there was one from year 2 onwards, where it was a same time celebration, dual Dokkan Fest. Obviously, originally it was TURs before it became LRs. So this anniversary battle obviously had 8 stages, including the newest unit, and this one would be 7 stages. So if we go all the way back the first time, I think this the first time big ticket units released on both versions at the same time. And this was, of course, the Super Saiyan 4 Gogeta and Physical Omega. So, of course, global, you know, we have the whole to be released controversy. I made a whole video talking about why I thought it was actually good and not bad. Make sure you check that out and see. It takes way too long to explain my thought process on that, so I'm not going to do it here. But if you haven't seen it, go check it out and let me know what you think in the comments. But yeah, these guys came out August 2017. So these guys technically were the first like download / worldwide celebration dual Dokkan Fests. These guys have their EZAs thanks to the 7th anniversary. This guy, obviously, he's kind of lost, right? He's stuck on teams that are just not very good. Shadow Dragon Saga GT bosses. He is on Power Absorption, Inhuman Deeds. I mean, like, just like the anniversary battle older units, getting unique skill orbs isn't going to suddenly make him a super meta, like one of the best TURs in the game, but it definitely would be a significant benefit. And of course, remember, like they've done with the free-to-play units that get the exclusive skill orbs, there's no reason why they can't give these guys very powerful orbs, right? Like dodge and defense or something, and then some of these characters would end up being potentially quite good, especially this Gogeta. Like, some of the newer events, especially with AoEs, don't really bode the best for him. But with a 70% chance to counter supers, he greatly raises defense on super. Like, imagine they give this guy skill orbs where each of the bronze, silver, and gold is defense plus another ability, right? Like potentially crits for the counter, additionals because he is raising that defense. I mean, if we look back to the ones from these guys for like the newer units, they were getting additional and crit on the silver and gold, and then defense on the bronze. But like the 7 years were getting crit and defense, or additional and defense. So the older units, I wouldn't necessarily expect them to get crit and additional. But yeah, imagine if like Gogeta got these kind of skill orbs: 800 defense, crit, 6 crit and 400 defense, and then 6 additional and 600 defense. Like, not again, it's not going to make him an absolute all of a sudden meta buster, but he would be quite useful again. It'd be kind of cool. So I think that would be pretty awesome. Then the next stage would obviously be the year after that. We got the Transforming Goku and Frieza. I'd completely forgotten that these guys were like same time download celebration dual Dokkan Fest, like same time version and everything. So these guys have their EZAs already. I think Goku has aged better than Frieza because he has damage reduction. So because he has damage reduction, again, imagine him getting a bunch of exclusive skill orbs that give him a ton of extra defense. And then he's raising defense on super. Obviously, these guys transform every single turn, and then they get up to the point where their final form is pretty powerful. Still raising defense for 1 turn, so additional supers would be good. He gets a guaranteed crit on the turn where he transforms into blue for the first time. So it'd be pretty cool if they gave them additional, because Golden Frieza does the same thing as well, right? When he becomes gold, guaranteed crit on the first turn only. So it'd be kind of cool if the skill orbs they gave them, imagine they were both the silver and the gold were additional and defense. So they're not getting any extra crit, but they obviously don't need it on that first turn, and they both benefit from getting additional supers. So that would be super cool. That would be stage 2. Then stage 3, this is where we started moving into LRs. So this was the first download celebration with dual Dokkan Fest LRs, Gohan and Cell. Both of these guys are usable still in the game, right? Gohan's starting to age a little bit when we take him into these events where they hit super hard from turn 1. But with his EZA, with guard and stacking, like again, you give him a ton of extra defense from exclusive skill orbs, and then he's going to be looking a lot better, especially in those first turns where he ends up doing like a triple super and he's getting 3 stacks. He's going to start looking a lot better if he had a bunch of exclusive defense skill orbs. And then, of course, Cell can still be very, very good as well. He can actually be a pretty decent option on Zamasu's team. So again, if he got a ton of defense skill orbs, that shores up one of his main weaknesses, because he can give you that heal, transform into Perfect Cell, and then he can be an absolute damage dealing machine. So if he gets a ton of extra defense from exclusive skill orbs, he will be very, very strong. So that would be stage 3. Stage 4 would then be the next worldwide, which is the Vegito and Buhan. Obviously, now we're getting into the territory of the units that haven't EZA'd yet. So unfortunately, with these guys, this is where we enter sort of like the I guess that we would say maybe what the 4th year LRs and then like the 6th year LRs based on the anniversary ones, where these guys just getting the exclusive skill orbs probably would not be enough to make them relevant in the meta again. But we would expect their EZA, since we didn't get it in this worldwide celebration, we would probably expect these guys to EZA within the next year. So these guys would be very cool. Obviously, again, they're not going to become super relevant with these orbs. In fact, I wouldn't even be surprised if we get the if this was to happen, you get the exclusive orbs for these guys, but then you still just can't really use them in any of the newer content. Like Vegito, obviously he would benefit a ton from having a bunch of this extra defense. But the one thing that we haven't really touched on, which Dokkan has never done yet, but it'd be very interesting if they did in the future. Imagine if they started doing skill orbs that would give you something like damage reduction. And then imagine if we get this anniversary special type version event for the worldwide, imagine one of the exclusive gold skill orb for STR Vegito, well, technically STR Goku and Vegeta, right? Imagine if their exclusive gold skill orb was like plus 800 defense and 10% damage reduction. Now, 10% isn't a lot, but that would help out STR Vegito, because he's one of the only Vegitos that does counters but doesn't have any damage reduction against normals, and that's one of the reasons why he aged so quickly against difficult content. And then when he gets his EZA in the future, then you imagine obviously they'd have to sort of balance this based on the skill orbs that they'd already released if they do it. But then his EZA, imagine they give him like 40% damage reduction as Vegito, so then if you have the extra skill orbs, he's got 50%. Rather than just giving him 50%, right? They give him 40%, and then you have the skill orb from that event. He has 50% damage reduction. So that would be super cool. Obviously, they've not done that yet, so we don't know if they ever will, but that would be pretty good. And then, of course, the next worldwide units after them are Super Saiyan Goku and Full Power Frieza. Again, these guys have kind of aged out now. There are some events against tech bosses where you can kind of still use Goku a little bit. But again, skill orbs for these guys would be great, especially Goku being a stacker on the 12 key. He can get a bunch of supers in one turn. So starting out with a whole bunch of extra defense thanks to skill orbs. Obviously the gold or silver giving him a bunch of extra additional would be really powerful. And then unfortunately for Frieza, because he's obviously more geared towards fighting superclass enemies or specifically a Goku, he has definitely aged out way more than the Namek Goku. But these guys, of course, will have to get EZAs at some point. I feel like these guys are going to have to EZA first, so it'll be a while until we see the EZAs for these guys. But unique skill orbs, at least for this Goku, could definitely make him relevant in some of the other events, right? And then, of course, after that, we had last year's Worldwide. This is where we start cooking a little bit, because Cooler, especially, still usable even now. Like, I've beaten the newer Red Zone stages with his team. So imagine him getting unique skill orbs where he's getting extra defense, which is one of his main weaknesses. And then, you know, again, give him the treatment where he gets extra additional, which he doesn't really need for one of the orbs, silver or gold. And then the other one giving him extra crit, which the best build for Cooler is full crit, right? You want all of those attacks and especially the active skill to get crits. So like this guy with exclusive skill orbs would actually be pretty crazy. And then these guys, maybe it could shore up some of their issues, right? Because they have damage reduction early, but their early defense isn't really that great. So having a bunch of skill orbs that give them a ton of extra defense would definitely be very beneficial for them. And obviously we want them to do extra supers. They have that additional chance built into their passive. So getting a bunch of extra additional for free with the skill orbs would obviously be very, very good. But I mean, this guy would just absolutely be crazy again, because he still is good now. He still is very usable. So you give him exclusive skill orbs that give him a ton of extra stats, and then he's going to be going crazy. And then, of course, just like the anniversary, the final stage would be against the brand new units. I mean, do we really need to say, like, how good these guys would be with exclusive skill orbs? Now, obviously, people will have just pulled these guys, just put skill orbs into them. Hopefully we're using the EX ones, right, that we've been getting from a bunch of these different special events. But like these guys would definitely be super, super good with a bunch of these special unique skill orbs that are giving a bunch of extra defense, bunch of extra additional, bunch of extra crit, just absolutely dominating these units would be thanks to that. So that's what I would love to see from the end of the worldwide celebration. I think it's really cool that they did it for the anniversary. Obviously I'm not going to expect them to do it for the worldwide as well, but they did it, you know, this year for the first time. It covers all of the anniversary. You would assume that when the 9th anniversary comes out, they will add a stage to this, which means as of like their release, essentially, maybe they won't add it till the end of the anniversary, but it means the new anniversary units coming out would then get these additional unique skill orbs, which would be really cool. So I would imagine with the 9th anniversary, they add a stage to this. So yeah, them doing this, but for the worldwide celebration, I think would definitely be super, super cool. So let me know what you guys think down below in the comment section. What would you like to see for the skill orbs for them? Like I say, adding some new unique abilities would be pretty cool. But just having the unique skill orbs, I think, would be awesome, and make some of these units who maybe are just aged out a little bit, would make them kind of useful again. So let me know what you guys think down below in the comment section. So that is going to be it for the video, guys. This has been the Masked Ningen. Smash that like button, subscribe to the channel if you are new. Check out the links down below for the Discord and the merch store, and I will see you all again soon. Have a good one.